Hey there, freedom fighters. I'm back with another one. Today's topic is gonna be they go woke, but they don't go broke. I was gonna make this video at the start of June, but I figured I'd hold off on it and see how the whole thing played off. But now that we're reaching the end of Skittles Awareness Month, and every company has their logo painted the colors of the rainbow, we could talk about it. But yeah, I was watching, I also wanted to see what a couple other channels had to say about this. And a lot of them, are saying the old trope, they go woke, they go broke. But they don't really. And then some channels actually got it. And what I've been saying for a long time is that these companies, there's a much bigger agenda at play. And they don't go broke. I think I might have done a video on this way back when I was first doing videos, like in 2016 or something. But I deleted all those really old videos. But back then, you had the Kaepernick kneeling, and people were like, oh, the NFL is dead. And people were doing the whole TikTok challenge, and they're burning their jerseys and their tickets, and, the whole online thing where everyone's like, virtue signaling how they're done with the NFL, and all these companies, people were like blowing up their Yeti coolers and burning their jeans and stuff like that to prove some point on the internet that you're done with their company. And I was always saying they don't care about the individual person's measly dollar, and that's not going to make them go broke. And I guess it's your definition of what broke is. But to me, I knew that these companies were never going to go bankrupt. It's not like they're going to cease to exist and pay the price that I want them to pay. Yeah, they might lose a little bit of money here and there, but to them, that's well worth it to continue to push the agenda. And that's what it's really about. And a lot of these companies, they're mega donors, and the people behind them are, and it's these top of the line, like, defense companies. It's what runs your country. You got your Vanguards and Raytheon and BlackRock and Northrop Grumman and all these places that are supporting this stuff. And that's where the big money comes from. That's where the big dollars are at. And then you have, talking about BlackRock, you had Larry Fink, the CEO, come out, I don't know, a little while ago, and he gave some interview where he says we have to manipulate company policies and force behaviors on these companies, ultimately to push the agenda that they want. So they openly admit that they do this. And it's much more about money. They're pushing an agenda. And people say the whole, oh, they go woke and they go broke because it makes them feel good. And they think they're winning. I constantly hear this on our side. Oh, we're winning the culture wars and people are waking up and we're winning. And that was Trump said something about that too before. He was always like, we're going to get tired of winning. And it's just this cope. This ongoing cope. It's like your friend when you see your buddy who broke up with his girlfriend. And you're like, oh, you're not with Susie anymore? And he's like, oh, no, screw that bitch. I broke up with her. And you're like, nah, dog. She broke up with you. Don't quit lying. And he's like, oh, I know. I'm so sad. And it's like, yeah. You could tell yourself the feel-good story, but that doesn't make it reality. It's just like people who, get fired and they're like, I quit that job. Yeah, I walked out there with my middle fingers up and said, F you guys. And, they play this thing in their head like, yeah, I quit like a real man. It's like, nah, bro, you got fired. Like, just tell it like it is. So, no, these companies aren't going broke. And they're going to continue to go woke. And they have the big money and big agenda behind them. Then I was watching a full spectrum survival video from Brad. I don't know if you guys watch his channel. But he did this report of the Zoom CEO. And I think it was back like when all the stuff was going on and like people were, working from home and Zoom was being used a lot, but they had to lay off some employees. And there was backlash there that, our CEOs and our board members and, corporate's getting paid so much, but we're getting laid off. So he cut his pay, his salary. He's like, I won't be making anything this year. But then, and I forget what he makes, but let's just say he makes $1 million a year. He said, I'm gonna cut my salary. I'm not gonna make anything. But then he put all his money into stocks. I forget what he owned. Maybe he owned like 5%, 10% in Zoom stocks. Well, then that looked good on the company, and they said, oh, look at him. His virtue signal is so great. And then the company's value went up, shooting his stocks up, and then he made millions of dollars off that. Off of the raise of his stock prices, which over exceeded his original, like I said, I don't know what it was, but like $1 million salary. And then Tim Pool did a good episode on this too, where he was talking about Disney. And, they're always saying like, oh yeah, their movies are flopping and their theme park attendance and, all this stuff. And I can't remember if it was one of the movies or the theme park or something, but they said that they didn't make any revenue or they broke even, or they might have even said that they didn't make money this year, or the film didn't make money. I can't remember what it was, but what they ended up doing was on their taxes charging it as covered losses. So then they didn't have to pay taxes on the whole stuff, and they made out again. So there's always a trick up their sleeve. There's always a way for them to get around it. And at the end of the day, it's much bigger than your dollar making a purchase. They're here to push an agenda. And they're not going to stop until that agenda gets met. And yeah, you may not watch their film or whatever, but your kid will see it. They'll push it on them in school, whatever. And then they're looking at, it's a long-term investment for these people. They're looking down the road. They want your kid as their customer. Your kid's kid as their customer. They're looking generations down the line. And if they can push the agenda now, that's how they know they'll get it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to what you guys think about it. If you think these guys are going broke, or if this is going to hurt them, or how's that going. But like I always say, we're on our own. No one's coming to save us. Only God can save you. So get right with God. Freedom Fighters out.